My name is Callie Richardson, and I have Titus Brandsma. So sorry for my voice, I've been sick the past couple of days. Titus Brandsma is a canonized saint and martyr. He was declared blessed in 1985 and became canonized in 2022, and he is the patron saint of journalists. He was born on February 23, 1881, at Oegekloster in Friesland, a province north of Holland in the Netherlands. His given name was Titus Brandsma, and he was the second youngest of 6 siblings. Catholics were a minority in the town he lived in, so Titus's father worked hard to preserve the faith in his family. Titus went to a Franciscan school and later went on to become a Carmelite priest, taking the name Titus in honor of his father. Titus is both ordained and consecrated as a Carmelite priest. Titus came to his vocational discernment through journalism. Although being a Carmelite priest and a journalist seemed like 2 conflicting vocations, he was able to combine them. Titus was awarded a PhD in philosophy at the Gregorian University in Rome. Titus then went on to found the Catholic University of Nijmegen, where he would work as a lecturer, professor, and administrator. He gave a lecture tour in the United States for the Carmelite Foundations. He worked on a project to translate the works of Saint Teresa of Avila into Dutch and published an anthology of his work. And he later became the national spiritual advisor to the Union of Catholic Journalists. However, as the Nazi regime started to gain traction and as World War II had started, Titus was very openly against Nazi values and spoke out against the persecution of Jews and the infringement of human rights by the Nazis, calling the Nazis inhuman. He even went as far as to expel a German professor from his university who turned out to be a Nazi. Thus, this made him a marked man by the authorities. Titus then personally delivered letters from Catholic bishops to editors, instructing them not to publish Nazi propaganda, articles, or advertisements. Titus was able to deliver 14 of these letters before he was arrested by the Gestapo at Nijmegen on January 19, 1942. He was taken to a transit camp at Amersfoort, where he was put to grueling work, but always stayed happy and disobeyed a ban on priestly ministry. He heard confessions, gave prisoners the sign of the cross, and even led Stations of the Cross. He was then transported to a concentration camp, Dachau. His health quickly deteriorated for obvious reasons, and by the 3rd week of him being at the camp, he was put into the camp hospital. However, concentration camp hospitals are not actual hospitals. They are used for biological experimentation in order to come up with more effective ways to kill people. Thus, Titus underwent biological experimentation before he was killed through lethal injection on Sunday, July 26, 1942. Before he died, Titus prayed that the nurse who would administer the poison would repent of her actions and come to Christ. Titus then gave her his wooden rosary beads. Years later, the nurse would go to a Carmelite priory, ask for forgiveness, and was a witness in Titus's beatification. Titus was able to mix his love for the spiritual life, as well as journalism, in his life. His vision shaped his work in the world by being able to use both of these passions to actively fight against the Nazi regime in the best way he could. Even through his martyrdom, Titus was able to make an impact. His selflessness for the good of mankind and his impact through the press shows how he allowed God to work through him. Thank you for hearing my presentation about Titus Brandsma.